Trevor and India, welcome to Book Club.
Hi, thank you so much for having us.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't be more excited to have you guys. This is going to be so fun. I've had so many friends in the space highly anticipating this release. We don't see a husband and wife duo very often, so I cannot wait to get to talk about your writing experience with you guys. I always like to start my podcast episodes with a villain origin story, meaning how did you get into reading, and then how did you ultimately get into writing? I'm not going to assume, but India, I'm assuming that you may have played a hand in the readership of it all. So can you all talk to us about that?
Yeah, I've always been a reader ever since I was a little kid. I was homeschooled all the way through, and so I remember when I was really little, I'd sit on my dad's lap and read the American Girl doll books. I don't know if we have any American Girl doll fans, yeah. So I would read those even before I was probably supposed to be reading them, and sit there and read those. So, I started there and then moved up with everybody else through Divergent, The Hunger Games, all the things going. Took kind of a break in my early 20s, went through college and whatever, and then later found it again and was like, this is great to disassociate. It's way more entertaining than TV. So I started reading, but the writing villain origin story.
So I'm the opposite. I don't read, unless it's some article on my phone I found interesting. So, but since she likes to read so much, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write her a book. And so I started writing Mountain Time. Had no idea where I was going with it, and I got 3 chapters in, and I was like, I think I need to tell her about it, because I was going to surprise her. And then I need help. I don't know where I'm going. So then as soon as I told her about it, it blew up from there. We took off with it. She went into like major research mode, and we've had this thing, and we're like, if we're going to do something, we're going to give it everything we got, and we'd really prefer it doesn't suck. So.
And it does not suck, so that's the best part. It is so good, guys. I can't wait to get into it later. Sorry, India, I cut you off. Go ahead.
We're good. I'm a researcher, so he brings me this 3 chapters, and first I was like shocked. I'm like, you wrote 3 chapters? Like, what? You don't even like read. And so we looked him over, and I was like, are we really going to do this? And we kind of had a conversation, because I didn't know too much about publishing, but I knew that like it's not free, like I was like, this is kind of an investment. And so we kind of had that conversation. We started writing more and messing with it to see what we thought. I did like a 3-day workshop with a gal. We've read through like a couple different books about writing, and we're like, okay, I think we could do this. Like, I think it sounds fun, and here we are. We wrote it in less than 3 months.
That's wild. Oh my gosh. It was such a fun read. I was telling them before we hopped on, I was in Montana this weekend and read it in Montana, and it was like just peak immersive experience. I was like, cowboy, Montana, the mountains. It was everything mountain time, literally. Like it was everything I could have wanted and more. So I can't wait to get into that with you all later. But yes, so publishing is a whole thing. Obviously, it's way more accessible than it used to be. India, I know you've talked online a little bit about the process of doing your best to make this as good as you possibly can make it when it comes to editors and promotion, and the art on this cover is phenomenal. Can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, so we decided, because I'm like one of those readers who I'm like, it's an adult romance. Like, I want it to look like an adult romance. And so we decided we really wanted to look like art. And so I'm like, well, if we want it to look like art, why don't we just have some art? Like, so we commissioned a painting from a friend of mine. Another reader in California recommended her, and she's like the Western way of life and all of that. Her name's Amanda. Her info's like on the back of the cover. But so she actually painted it for us. It's a painting that was then turned into the cover. And just yesterday, we got the first real sneak peek, not final file, but real sneak peek of book 2's cover, and I love it. It might be better than this one, but it's so cute.
Oh my gosh, that is so fun and exciting. The art is phenomenal. Even your character art is so unique and cool. It's like, is it a sketch, like pencil sketch?
Yeah, a gal in the UK.
I'll pop it up for the people. Yeah.
And it's like a charcoal pencil sketch, and found her in the UK, and I showed Trevor, and he was like, I actually like that, because some of the character art's more like cartoony, and that's just like not Instagram. And so I saw her, and I was like, this is like amazing. And so I messaged her, and she was like, I'm down. So she's gonna do a character art for everybody.
Incredible. That's so, so fun and exciting. I opened the package from you all and saw the art, and I was like, this is exactly what I'm needing right now. This is exactly what I want. I texted my friend Tori, and I was like, guess what I'm reading when we are in Montana? It was, I'm so excited for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to kind of loop back to y'all's experience, like life experience that led you to having such a unique perspective writing this book. You all cover it very well in the author's note, but to the people who haven't had the opportunity to read it yet, you all have a really cool life story. Can you speak on your experience, kind of ranch life? And then, Trevor, you are a bull rider. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I started riding bulls when I was 8 years old. Well, calves and steers and full-grown bulls, and been able to make a living at it, and been to the national finals twice, and been on the PBR teams and different things. And so, yeah, the writing the bull riding scenes and things in the book, I can kind of visualize different bull rides in my own mind and put it on the page.
Incredible. Such a unique perspective. Have you read any other bull rider romance and you're like, well...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. But it's a different world. You always hear people say, I want to ride bulls, like, it's on my bucket list, and it's an experience that it doesn't really relate to anything else. And I mean, I've rode race horses and ran a couple of races even, and that's a rush, but it's not like riding bulls. I mean, you make one mistake, you're done, and either you get bucked off or you could get seriously injured, and there's nothing that compares to it. And
yeah, absolutely. It was so phenomenal to read and provided such a unique perspective on bull riding, because like the descriptiveness in those scenes, like kind of in hockey romance and stuff, people talk about writing the actual hockey part well, or baseball. And so this was the first time I'd read a bull riding romance where I'm like, okay, we're getting the play-by-play. And I loved it so much. It was so helpful. I actually sent this to my sister. I was like, okay, in October you have to pick this up. She's a big PBR fan. She grew up watching bull riding. When she was like 3, we were watching it on TV, and she's like, Dad, why can't those boys hold on to those cows? I was like, Ella, I have a book about boys holding on to cows for you. And she was so excited. So I can't wait for her perspective. I'll have to loop back with you guys, because she's like the biggest fan of all time. Actually, when I told her that I was going to be chatting with you all, she knew exactly who you were. She's like, yes, I'm very familiar. So she was very excited. India, can you speak on your life experience that provided such a unique perspective to this story?
Yeah, so I kind of grew up, like, my dad always wanted to have cattle and horses and random stuff. I mean, I had rabbits and goats and, the whole thing growing up. Like, we had whatever, little funny farm, miniature Herefords. Those are my favorite. And then as I got older, Dad started, like, a full-fledged cattle operation. We ended up at 230 head of embryo recip. So that means, like, they'll pull an embryo from one cow and artificially inseminate in the other. It's a lot of, like, breeding stock to try to take, like, one really good bull and one really good cow and have 14 calves, So we did a lot of that, and I did that full-time for about 4.5 years with him, and it's nonstop. It's 24/7, 365 days a year. I lived less than a mile from the barn, so I was right there. So I worked a lot of night shifts, and actually when we started dating, it worked out because he's a night owl. Going to rodeos, like, he drives at night all the time. Well, I was up calving cows or doing whatever, and so we would be chatting at 2 a.m. and worked. So,
and another point on the horse side of things is we've both trained horses our whole lives. My dad was a farrier, and obviously rodeo and things, and I've broke colts since, I think the first pony I broke, I was also 8 years old, 9 years old, something like that. And so yeah, we've both been training horses our whole lives, and so that helps too, I guess.
Absolutely. And all of those perspectives were so clear and beautifully done in this story. I was not once lost. And I also just felt like I learned a lot from reading Mountain Time as just, a city Nashville girl. I was like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting with the program. I'm understanding. So y'all did a phenomenal job of education, entertainment, inspiration, all of that good stuff, which are the 3 pillars of an incredible book. So you all knocked it out of the park. Are there any elements of the story? I know you said this is not about us. This play is not about us. But are there any elements where it was like, okay, we had to put this in there?
So I guess the scene, we have him picking up the phone in the middle of an interview, and that was inspired by a friend of ours, who actually did that. He was on stage with
it was like a panel, like there were several of them at a table, answering questions from
and that was inspired by him though, because he's just in the middle of an interview and they're talking to someone else, but he just picks up his phone like it doesn't matter, and we are putting this in here. And
that's incredible. That was such a swoon-worthy moment, too, with Jesse being like, come to the TV right now. Get in here right now. Like, I was giggling. It was so, so sweet. That's so fun. Gonna pivot to y'all's writing process a little bit now that we've discussed your backgrounds. Trevor, you mentioned that you were the one to kind of initiate getting the story started, but what was your writing process like? Like, did you write the MMC, India, FMC, or did you kind of mix and match? What was your journey like there?
So, yeah, the beginning of it, I kind of just wrote it like as if I was watching a movie. And that's kind of how I wanted it. And then I got stuck, obviously, so I told India it was going to, or I told her about it, and then we kind of we did some classes and things and like got our storyline made up first. I think we wrote a few more chapters, but we still weren't sure where we were going with it.
We kind of wrote a few, and then like in our research and like education, we kind of learned like, outside of just your outline of the story, who are your characters? Like so we built like entire people essentially. They have like an Enneagram number, a love language, like that personality traits, like to try to really differentiate, I can't talk, the difference. And we also wanted to keep in mind other characters in the series. You don't want to write the same people over and over again. So like I will say, like in book 1, Mountain Time, Knox and Casey, they're both pretty mature, they have their lives, they kind of think they're on track, they know where they're going. In book 2, it's just chaos, like nobody knows. It's like those characters,
I can't wait.
People.
I can't wait.
Yeah, so
they're such strong secondary characters.
Yeah, and they're about to be first, so buckle up.
Can't wait. I'm so excited. Both of their personalities, I was like, I hope they end up together. Like, when they were first introduced, I was like, please, please, please. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. We can talk at the end about what's next in case anyone wants to pop up. But I was like, please let it be them. Because oftentimes, those two personality types people wouldn't put together. But I'm like, please, please, please. Like, let it be both of them. So I'm so excited. That's so exciting.
Watch the train wreck. It'll be fine in the end.
And honestly, it's going to be the most entertaining. Can you speak? A lot of authors listen to this podcast as well, and a lot of them are like, what are their personality types? What are their Enneagrams? Can you share that? Because really, when it comes down to it, if you get stuck having those Enneagrams, it's like, okay, well, what would an 8 do? What would a 6 do in this scenario? So can you share what they are?
Let me see if I can pull it up right now. So Knox is a 3, which is what I am. So I can relate to that very much. Yeah. And then Casey's a 5. So, like, Knox is a 3, which is, for those who don't know, that's an achiever, success-oriented, pragmatic. They can be adaptive. They like to excel. And then Casey has a 5. That's, like, you can be a little intense, but also innovative, a little secretive. That tracks. And then love languages, Knox is words of affirmation, and Casey is acts of service.
Love it. That's so fun. Ugh, I love a good personality test and a personality type, especially in a book. I love trying to guess, being like, if I had to guess what this person is. So that is super fun. Okay, So let's dive in to the story itself. What was y'all's process like of coming up with the story arc? I know you kind of said in the beginning you were a bit lost. Did the story come naturally to you? Did that conflict come naturally to you? I don't want to spoil it for anyone because my jaw was on the floor, but your third act conflict is so intense, but is such a great conflict for the fears of both characters. You know, like, I think you all led them to that so well. Can you talk about your plotting process? Or are you more pantsers?
I think we're definitely plotters.
Yeah, we plotted it.
We're flexible, like, but we need to know kind of a direction. Because I'm, like, big on the character arc of, I want to make sure, because as a reader myself, if a character's not growing, if you feel like you're on the same plane the whole book, I get bored. I need to see some up and down and some. So we kind of plotted it all out. We made changes, like we had our editor, we did developmental edits with her, and then we had a group of beta readers go through it, and I will say they were super helpful, and like, you know how you were like, I understood everything. Yeah, we can credit them for that, because they came back to us and were like, what does this mean? Like, we had to go fix it. Because we know it. Hard when you know what it means to remember to explain
There's
it.
so many terms, especially in the rodeo world, that I don't even think about. Like, it doesn't, like, I just know. And I didn't even process it. Like, the general public has no clue. And, so, yeah, we had to make sure we wrote it so people would understand.
Even the reader, she left a note in there on something, I can't remember what, and goes, is this slang? And it was something to do with rodeo, and it was. It's like rodeo slang.
Yeah. You're like, well, yes. It's like another language. Like, we need a glossary. We need, like, the whole thing. It was, y'all did such a phenomenal job. And beta reading is, like, game-changing for that. I know, so.
They're super. Well, we love our beta readers. And then, so we plotted it and started writing. But then there's random things that, like, as you're going through the book and with the other characters, and we also, you know, we have the whole series mapped out. We know who's where, when, what. So dropping little Easter eggs like that is super fun for me. And I, as a reader, like, I love it when other authors do that, and I can see all the pieces falling together. Or even like Anna Hung does it, where a character from like a different series will like pop into like the Twisted series, you know, and they cross over. I'm like, yes, as a reader, I love it. So we a lot of, I mean, even into our next series that we're probably not going to write for a couple years, you know, like, and so we went through all of that, and then just started writing the book and seeing where the characters went. For a lot of authors, it seems like one of their struggles that they talk about is the dialogue and all of that. I think working together, we didn't really have a lot of that, though that went pretty smoothly for us. So I think we covered a lot of ground. Like, we wrote this really fast, we know that, but we didn't do it, like, rush it. It was our down season, it was our off season, so we were home to nothing, and so we wrote this.
And it's like 2 brains.
Yep.
Double the brains.
We just literally, like, sit there, write, and, like, we'd do the banter and stuff, and, like, we just laugh at each other. Like, our just different responses we came up with. And
just type across the screen.
And, like, sometimes we'd be in different rooms, or I'd be at the counter, and because we wrote this after the finals, and I was hurt, so, like, sitting at the couch wasn't exactly comfortable, like, and things. Like, we'd be in different rooms even and writing, and we'd just watch each other writing and be like, what if? And then, like, just say something completely stupid, and we're like, no, we like it.
We like it.
Yeah. You're like, wait, don't delete. Let it sit for a second, let it cook. That's awesome. So were you all in that document together quite often, or did you kind of hop in, hop out, or were you in separate parts, or were you just kind of like building off of each other and riffing off of each other?
I personally, like, my OCD does not allow me to jump around in the story. Like, I know some authors are like, oh, I want to write this scene and go do that, and that's wonderful. I wish I could do that. Congrats to you. I cannot. Like, it is not. No, we finish where we're at, and then we will move on. Even if we come back later and rewrite it, that's fine. But, like, get it on the page so that the rest of it, I just feel like we're gonna have plot holes if we try to jump around. So we're very much right in order. And then there was times that, like, because I would have more free time than him, I would go in and maybe add some of the descriptions of, like, the current house that they're in, or the ranch, or whatever. And then, like, a lot of the FMC and her best friend, you know, like, that's like a girlfriend relationship, girls. So a lot of their conversations and things like that are me. A lot of the bull riding is him. All the groups family dinners and all of that was us at like 11 p.m. drinking whiskey, sitting.
But the Blue Riding scenes from like Casey's point of view, she would write, because I mean, it was better than the woman that sits there and watches it all the time. So you know, and the perspective of like, if I write it, I'm gonna get pretty detailed about it, so like break it down. But like as a like she's in that position every day, so who better to write that?
Yeah. I love that. And it read so smoothly. Did it take a while to kind of mesh your voices into one, or did that come naturally to you all as well?
I think it took a little bit. Like, it would probably be our self-edits where we really made sure, like, we felt like Knox was pretty strong by the end of draft 1, and it was Casey that we really put a lot of work into in the self-edits. So our editor has like a guide of 3 rounds of self-edits before it goes to her. So we do those and then we send it to her. And we did a lot of work on Casey. We even added a couple scenes to kind of help her character arc and all of that. So we definitely, like, because she was just, once you read it, you'll kind of know, like, she just has a lot going on. Like,
it's a lot going on. You all did such a phenomenal job of showing, not telling, because there were so many beats for both of the characters where something they said earlier in the book looped back. Like, I'm thinking particularly, I don't feel like this is a spoiler, but if you're like super anti-spoilers, skip ahead just a little bit. Knox asks Casey what her biggest fear is, and she kind of discusses that, and I think that answer is such a like huge part of her character and story arc. And you very easily could have been like, remember when I said my biggest fear? But you all trusted the reader to kind of pick up on that. And it was so well done. Like, I was clapping and cheering. Like, it was so good. I know that's not a question, but I was just blown away by y'all's ability to have character growth for both of those characters and then for them together. It's kind of us against the world type thing, which was so refreshing, so beautiful. I loved it.
If you think about their personality traits and like the kind of people that they are, like, it makes sense that, like, very hesitant. Well, once they get into it, like, we're in it now. Like, we are. There was more hesitation on her side than his, naturally, but it's very much. And if you kind of like, we wanted them to be the mature adult character. We wanted to start off with those strong characters, and we knew that we felt like that would be easier for us to write for our debut. And rather than like book 2, I said that would have been very hard to write for a debut. So, and we actually, book 2 is with our editor for developmental edits right now, and I'm like, I cannot wait to hear back from her because it needs something, but I don't know what it needs, and she's gonna help.
I think they're pretty excited about it. You know, it's not very common for other cowboys even to write a book, and then like and like why we put that part in there, like, this is not about us, this is based on, you know, like, our experiences in life, but it's not about us. And like, even my buddies, like, the amount of them that think this is our love story it would blow your mind. And
we're like, no, please, this is not us.
Yeah, this play is not about us.
It's completely made up, and it's not real, and like, just, it's a book.
So, like, the rodeo community's initial reaction was surprise. Like, they were like shocked that, and didn't really fully grasp, I think, at first what we were talking about and what we're doing. And now that they're like we have a few copies with us, we got our author proofs on the road, and like, we're carrying them around. And I have a TikTok, it's pinned on my TikTok for anybody who wants to watch it, where we have some of them blind react to reading different scenes. Some of them, it's not all like smut. Some of it's funny, a lot of it's smut, and we have them blind react. And it's great. And so the more like people have talked about it, and then once their like girlfriends and wives kind of found it, then they were like, oh, I know like what this is, essentially. Like, it's just it's a romance book, it's fiction. But even like the other night, and we were in Tyler, Texas, and Trevor comes back and he goes, there was like some young bareback rider back there, and I was walking by, and he goes, hey, are you that guy who wrote the book with your wife? My girlfriend was talking about that. And I'm like, you're famous now.
Yeah.
famous author.
Yeah.
Turning over there. It's very much when worlds collide.
Yeah, and they're very supportive. Like, they were just surprised, and now everybody, like, they're buying it, they're sharing our posts, like, everybody's super supportive. It was just, they were so caught off guard. It took the rodeo world a minute to, like, absorb and be like, wait, what are we doing?
They're like, you did what? And,
yeah.
But, I mean, we'd be writing part of it. We'd be sitting in the parking lot in San Antonio and writing part of it. And, and it kills our downtime at rodeos waiting for the perks.
You mentioned a lot in the book, and I obviously am not immersed in the world. There's a ton of travel, like unbelievable amounts of travel with this job. And there's very little downtime. I know you said you wrote this in your downtime. Can y'all dive into that a little bit more? Because I really just feel like when people read it, they'll understand, but like y'all are on the road all the time.
Oh, yeah. And we that schedule is actually built off of, what year was that?
It was 22 or 23, I think.
Yeah, 22 or 23. My schedule in 22, 23. So, like, we actually did that same exact schedule. We might have made it a little more dramatic and had a day of,
because it depends on how they put you up, like where you drive. Sometimes, so you can enter a rodeo and say, I want to go on Thursday. Well, that doesn't mean that the association is going to put you out on Thursday. They might say, too bad. And then it can screw up, and all of a sudden you're driving back and forth across the Pacific Northwest like 4 times. We've all been there. Like, if you've rodeoed, you have been there. And every once in a while, you'll get a year where it lines up perfect, and you can just drive like a little 6-hour circle, and you're like, this is a dream. And then the next year, you're driving back and forth again.
Oh, yeah. And, like, we put 50,000 miles on my truck every year. And
wow.
Yeah. And I bought it brand new, and it's got almost 400,000 on it now. So, and
oh my gosh, what a journey the car has been on, and you all have been on. That's amazing. Do you have, again, you can say pass, do you have a favorite spot to ride?
We've got several, and we did we put Pendleton in there? I don't think we did.
I think we mentioned it in passing, but they didn't go there.
Yeah, like, Pendleton is, one of the coolest, most unique rodeos you'll ever go to, but we've been to several different rodeos that are different, and they're cool, and there's so many, it's tough to name them all. Like Caldwell is a cool rodeo.
Ogden, Utah, they're really nice, because then it also, from the contestant, and like, so they call us companions, we're the wives and the girlfriends. From our side too, like, when you live on the road all the time, I mean, last summer we were gone for 114 days straight. Anything that life easier, we are all about. So even parking close and having real nice bathrooms, and they have hospitality, which is like they'll feed us, and they have dinner and snacks and things like that. Kids play areas, any of that type of stuff, like, means the world to contestants. So sometimes, like, we'll say a rodeo that we love, and people are like, I've never heard of that, and we're like, yeah, well, the committee is great. And they make our life.
You're like, you don't get it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Is there anything in this story where it's like, y'all should pay attention to this? Most of the time people are like, I'm really proud of this beat I hit. I'm really proud of this moment. Please pay attention. Are there any that come to mind to you all as like a favorite or something you worked really hard to get right? It's okay if the answer's no. But
one thing that I saw, somebody sent me like their little like Kindle notes from their highlights and their notes and things. And one thing that I didn't like process, I guess, as we were writing it was Dodge City. You'll know what I'm talking about, what happens in Dodge City, Kansas. We just did that because that's normal. Like, that happens to guys. Like, it's something that, guys get hurt. That happens. Well, she was like so caught off guard by that, and was like, this is the best thing. I was like, what? Like, and it just like blew her mind, and she loved it and kept reading. And then so she left notes on that, and I was like, okay, they like that scene in Dodge City, like the two, best friends together, going through that and everything. So that's kind of a scene that I guess I didn't pick out, but readers have, and I'm like, that's cool. Like,
yeah, we were just trying to get Trey, like out of the truck for a little bit, and so
can spoil it for him.
But
I just know I'm gonna be a Trey girl. I love the funny guy, like nobody's business. I can't wait. And I also love the fiery girl, and this is all very exciting. I'm over the moon.
My friends, I was like, Trey is my sweet baby boy, and if anyone says anything bad about him, I'd be very upset, because like he is who he is, but also like you just have to wait for his book, because it can be deceiving,
I was like, there's more to this man. There's more to this man. I'm sure of it. I don't know what it is, but we're going to find out. He's not just like this.
He's not just like...
He just loves life. I mean,
yeah.
he just wants to live his best life. So, and he's not going to let him not have fun,
Yeah. And I'm so glad. I love him already. I can't wait. So let's dive in. Maybe can you all talk about process of what's coming next? You said that the next book's at the dev editor. Is there anything you can tell us about the next book or what's to come in this series?
Yeah, so if you've pre-ordered, or even if you have it on your Kindle, and I think some people miss this because it's at the very end, Chapter 1 of Book 2 is at the end. It's in the ebook, it's on the paperback, so you can get your little sneak peek. And I think, like, the beginning of that chapter, I think you were outside when I wrote that. Yes. And I was, like, mostly joking when I wrote it, but then I read it, like, I'm just talking about, like, the first paragraph. And I'm like, actually, I think this is perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I think we need to keep this.
You need to come in here and read this, like, right now. Yeah. And so I came in and I read it, and I was like, this is great. And I was like, we're leaving this. It's staying. And this is going to live with it.
So that got left, and so the first chapter is in there. And it's so basically like, it's very much a found family, because Casey, the FMC, which is the rancher's daughter in Mountain Time, is an only child. So she has built her own little family with her best friend Jesse. Now she found Knox, who had raised Trey as his almost adopted child. And then you've got a couple of the ranch hands that are coming in. One's very much like a brother figure. The other one's almost a little bit of the outsider who comes in, and we're all just going to kind of build on their stories. We do have our master plan for all 4 books. You can probably, at the very least, I think when you read book 1, you'll be able to guess who book 2 is. And some readers might even be able to guess who book 3 is. If not, I think in book 2 you'll definitely know who book 3 is. And which, as a reader, I like that. And so I like to have little scenes and little Easter eggs on who's what, and so you can kind of get a sneak peek. Like, you read Catherine Cowles, right? Yeah, it's right behind you. Her next book that's coming out, I need it like 2 months ago. I've wanted it since book 1.
I saw her this weekend, and I was giving her such a hard time. I was like, do you have it on you right now? Could I borrow it? I will read it while you're sitting right here. Like, if you can sit here and watch me, I will not take it anywhere, but can I have it?
Yeah, I know. So we're kind of hoping to build in some of that with these different characters, and then, so we're going to have, like, the next book will just be chaos, a lot of trauma. Those are the funny characters. They're your funny side characters and best friends. But I think people might be surprised with the depth of this book and some of the topics that we cover. It will have trigger warnings at the beginning to talk about some of that, because they're your funny side characters, but there is definitely more to the story that there are people that are close in their lives don't even see. So I emailed our editor, and I was like, just so you know, when you read this, it leans more towards romantic suspense, I think, now that I read it back. And so I was like, give me your 2 cents on that. Like, where are we going? And so so it might be, there's a little bit more of a suspense element towards, Boogeyman, and don't laugh. Well, and so that's going to be book 2. And then book 3, the only thing I will tell you is it's going to be Grumpy Sunshine.
I have a hope of book 3, and I'm hoping that I'm right, and I can't wait. I'm just so excited about this entire series and this cast of characters that you all have built. And I always say the funnier the character, the worse the trauma. Like, that's just how it is. They're trying to hide something. If the funnier they are, the scarier their past is, probably.
I feel like that's
so,
like, too. Like, a lot of people who are funny, like, you've definitely had some trauma.
yeah. Like, it's all a distraction mechanism for sure, and I love a romantic suspense thrown in there, so I'm just really pumped for you guys. And looping back to that first scene that's in the back of Mountain Time, I was giggling so hard, and my friend was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "You have to read this. Like, you have to read this. I cannot keep it together." We were in bed in Montana, and she's like, "Is everything okay over there?" It is not. Everything's not okay. It is so laugh out loud funny and so on brand for this character. Like, it's just, but you can't just pop that back there and read it. Like, you won't fully appreciate this character's situation until you know them. Yeah. It's so fun. Well, I'm so pumped for you guys. Do you all have a hope of when your next book will come out? You don't have to say.
I can tell you our hope, but no date, because we're going to get the developmental edits back and see the feedback to kind of know how long it's going to take us to implement that. Like, Mountain Times, it was like, even our editor, like, she emailed me back and was like, "This is the most well-organized, well-done manuscript I have seen in a long time." So we didn't have, like, massive dev edits. Like, she went through the whole thing, and we made changes, we added scenes, but it wasn't like we had to rewrite half of the book. It wasn't that.
We'd ramp up a couple scenes too.
Yeah,
so
fix some plot holes.
Yeah.
I don't know what our dev edits are going to look like for book 2. I might just be having the imposter syndrome thing, but like I said, I feel like we're almost leaning more towards romantic suspense. They're very big characters. There's a lot going on. There's a third character in this that is way more prominent, I feel like, than in, like, Mountain Time. It's Knox and Casey, like, and then there's side characters, and while in this book it's a side character, it's a very big side character, so it's like 3 characters, and there's just so much more to it that I feel like we need to make sure this is really well done. And so we'll do the dev edits with her, we'll do beta readers, and then so we would love to release it in March of 26, but we have to see how long this is going to take, because we also, the holidays, kind of, everybody wants to take time off over the holidays, and then your timeline, like, I didn't realize, I knew it took a long time to get a book out, but I didn't know, like, the grand scheme of, like, doing your line edits and your proof and your formatting, and then you proofread it again, and, like, ordering author proofs and all of that. Like, it just takes a long time to get done, and so March.
That's so exciting. And I'm assuming, because you all are writing a second book, you do enjoy being authors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely found a love in it and plan to keep going.
Yeah.
Good. I love to hear that. Obviously, my entire career now is working with authors, and nothing makes me more happy than people coming out of their debut being like, "Let's go." Like, let's keep it moving. Like, it just makes me so happy. As we're wrapping up here, can you talk about what it has been like marketing your book as a debut author? Y'all have done a phenomenal job of getting your book out there, leveraging kind of the unique positions you're in and the community you're a part of. Can you talk about marketing and debut?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of been more on me. So I've actually worked in marketing for 5 years now or more, because I'm a freelancer. So I work remote. I work in marketing. I've worked in all aspects of it, from social media to email marketing to building websites. Right now, one of my main jobs is SEO marketing. So, like, on our website, I did all the SEO. I built the whole thing, did all of that. So I kind of feel like, compared to some authors, I have a little bit of a leg up because I have the experience. I do all of our email campaigns. So the first thing I did was build the website and then set up our email marketing so we could start collecting emails, because I knew we wanted ARC readers. And I'm like, I want a lot of ARC readers because nobody knows who we are. So we started that process. We got a bunch of ARC readers to sign up, get excited about it. And then we have had, like, I didn't realize until I started doing research, because we're indies, like, the numbers are, like, staggeringly low for sales and pre-orders and just, like, all of that. And I was like, I feel like we can beat that. And we have. We're happy to say appreciate the support from everybody. We did go ahead and go on NetGalley. So that was an additional cost. It's not cheap, but we felt like as debuts, as indies, like we need more ARC readers. We need to get this book in front of people. So we put it on NetGalley. We ran a promotion with them. That has gone super well. We've got, I think, like 40 reviews just from NetGalley. So that's been going really well for us. We do not regret that decision at all. And then, like, if you guys, so anybody listening, if you're like, well, I want an ARC, or Mountain Time is still on NetGalley, you can go request it. And then book 2, you can either sign up for our email newsletter. I'll be sending out updates there. We do send those first. So, like, our ebooks from our email newsletter, that's like a perk. If you want to join our email newsletter, sign up for ARCs. We send out like a form, fill it out. You're going to get yours before the NetGalley people get theirs for book 2. Just because there needs to be some type of reward for supporting us. And then we do actually send out some physical, well, you have one there, physical ARCs. I know not everybody does that,
Prized possession.
Like, so
it's my prized possession.
Got a few of those. We'll do that again for book 2. And then again on our website, we have pre-orders with signed copies with all the fun goodies that come with it. And you guys have like bought those up. I've already started. I've had to like do it in phases of packaging them because we didn't know. And I do a lot on TikTok, and I think TikTok is huge for authors. So I've done, and that one TikTok about the Cowboys blind react. Oh my gosh, we sold so many books from that thing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I want to read this now, and I'm like, oh, shout out to Trevor's friends for marketing this for me.
I'm like, we are so gonna enjoy this.
Yeah, we need a multi-part. I told him, I'm like, get your friends. I need a part 2 to this.
Yeah.
Yes. Will you all be somewhere where you can celebrate on release day, or are you going to
home?
We'll be home. So
yeah, we're on the road.
We purposely had to set it for October because we're like, how are we going to like be able to ship things out? We're on, like we said, we're on the road so much, and we sent the ARCs to Idaho, a friend's house in Idaho, so we could send those out while we were on the road. And but being able to do that, and like we live in a camper in the bed of my pickup, so for all summer, and so yeah,
rodeo season ends.
There's no return address on that.
Yeah.
No, we have different friends that live out west, so like it got shipped to one friend's house, but I had the return address set to like another friend's house in Oregon. I'm like, in case it doesn't go there, they can send it down to Oregon.
We sent the two.
We sent the proofs to Oregon.
Yeah, the proofs. We sent to a friend's house in Oregon, and then the ARCs we sent to Idaho, northern Idaho, in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and yeah, and
then we shipped our poor UPS lady. I think it was 13 or 14 boxes, like big, heavy boxes of books to our house for the pre-orders, and then extras like there's a bookstore in Oklahoma City we might do a signing with and different things like that. So we waited until rodeo season's done October 1st, and I was like, then we can release it. Like, Mountain Time, like we've had the final file, we could have released it like earlier this month, but it just wasn't feasible for us. Like, so it gave our readers more time and market it, and the next one, if we do it in March like we'd like to, that's easier. Like we should be able to definitely like get our author proofs and be like, okay, great, this works. Full send. Like
I love it. That's so fun, and you keep people on their toes. I have obviously a lot of content creator friends who are going to be listening, and one thing about us content creators, we like to check on our informed delivery, see what might be coming. And I was like, Idaho? What could be coming from Idaho? Who's in Idaho? And there's like, we just all get a good kick of trying to guess where these locations are and who it is. So I had fun attempting to guess the Idaho shipping of it all. And then, y'all will have a week off, and then you will be debut authors officially. That is so exciting. I'm over the moon for you guys.
We like to, once rodeo season's done and we go home, we like to just be home, decompress. So we'll probably just do release day from home, and then we've got some indie bookstores that want to stock it, and so we've ordered some book plates, so we're gonna be sending some of those out. So that's exciting. I didn't know like who would want to stock it or anything like that, but it's been super well received, so we're gonna go ahead and go with that.
I love it. I am always just so excited when a debut hits it out of the park. It's hard to do, as I think you've mentioned before, and you all just really, really crush this. I couldn't possibly recommend it more, truly. And the cowboy romance girls are not ready because they don't get it yet, and they're going to get it because this feels so different in the best way. Like, it's like drinking Starbucks and then drinking like a local coffee shop coffee. It's like, all right, well, this is a cowboy romance, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how it feels. I'm like, oh, this is local. This is locally owned. This is the real stuff right here. So it is just, yeah, like I was like, oh, locally sourced and made. Absolutely, yes. Like, it was just so good.
As a reader, I feel like in the romance world, you don't always get a lot of action. It kind of depends who you're reading, and in these like romantic suspense like Catherine and Victoria, we're starting to see more of it, and I like it because you get those heart-pounding scenes, you get those, like, instead of having it all just be feelings and everything, like, that's all great, but like, I don't know, but I'm also a fantasy reader. I like to read fantasy. Like, I just finished the Red Rising series, and so, you know, sword fights and all that type of stuff. And so I told Trevor, I always compare the bull riding scenes to like a sword fight in fantasy. Like, it's an action scene. Like, it is a true action scene. That is all it's for. It's not for like, well, he loves her and she loves him, and, you know, like, that's not, it's just a straight up entertaining action, and it adds to his character. He kind of shares more about who he is. But I think maybe some of the action in these books, because they're all going to have action in one way, shape, or form. Like, they're not all bull riders, but they all do something. So we're going to have some action in all these.
I love it, guys. I'm just so proud of you and so excited for you, and to everyone listening. This is the fall read that you need to pick up. It is truly just, it's everything you need it to be and more. It's perfect fall energy and vibes, and I'm just so excited for you guys. I can't wait to see where this release takes you. And yeah, to all my small town cowboy loving friends who are in the audience, I'm just telling you right now, click the link below. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for you guys. This is going to be coming out on the Wednesday prior to your release, so there's plenty of time to still pre-order. Nothing like a last minute pre-order. Yeah. Okay. Well, you all have a captive audience of readers. Is there anything that you would like to say from you to them as they're forced to listen?
I think just thank you. A chance on us as debut authors, and also as a married couple, because you just don't see that a lot. Like, and I know there's girls that are like, we don't like reading romance written by a man. Yeah, well, he wrote it with his wife, so try that. It's a little different. So I just want to say thank you for taking a chance on us and our debut, and we hope that you all love it. So far, we're seeing really good feedback, so we're very excited.
Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and being willing to speak with me. I'm really grateful for you all. And thank you to everyone for listening, and we'll see you all in the next one.